Imagine your body like a crowded subway system, where every sugary snack you eat sends another overloaded train screeching into the station. The average American downs 17 teaspoons of added sugar a day, and your pancreas ends up working like an exhausted traffic cop trying to prevent crashes. Now picture what happens when you cut sugar completely for 14 days, and the whole subway suddenly goes quiet. Your body starts checking tunnels and fixing wires it forgot even existed. At first your brain panics because it's been living off quick dopamine hits, like a gamer who just lost power mid-battle. Then your energy dips in strange waves and every craving feels like a loud passenger banging on the door. But this chaos is the very signal that your body is finally rewiring itself for the biggest reset you've ever experienced. Sugar doesn't just drain your energy, it creates a slow, silent kind of metabolic damage that builds up without warning. Doctors call it chronic low-grade inflammation, the same process that wears down your nerves like rust spreading through hidden subway tracks. You feel it as brain fog, random cravings, poor sleep, and that heavy afternoon crash. But the moment you cut sugar, even for 14 days, the repair process begins fast. And those first 24 to 72 hours will show you just how dramatic the reset really is. 0 to 24 hours, your body feels the missing fuel. The first day you cut sugar is like telling your body we're changing the Wi-Fi password and not giving it to anyone. Inside, your system is confused, but very, very busy. You've been feeding it an average of about 17 teaspoons of added sugar a day, more than double what's recommended for most adults. So when you stop, it's not a tiny tweak. It's a shock. Biologically, two big things happen. First, your blood glucose stops doing dramatic spikes and dips because you're no longer pouring in quick digesting sugar from drinks, desserts, and healthy snacks that are secretly loaded. Second, your pancreas finally gets a micro-vacation. It doesn't have to shoot out as much insulin every time you eat, which means less of that "store this as fat now" signal. Studies using continuous glucose monitors show that even short-term reductions in free sugars can smooth out 24-hour glucose profiles and lower glycemic variability. But what you feel on day one is not, yes, my glycemic variability is improving. You feel human stuff. Getting hungry earlier than usual, feeling oddly off, snapping at people for no good reason, staring at the office vending machine like it personally wronged you. That's your body negotiating. It's saying, hey, we had a deal. You give me sugar, I give you a tiny dopamine hit, and we both pretend everything's fine. Think of every cell like a tiny worker in a factory that's used to cheap, fast fuel. When you pull sugar, they have to recalibrate and reach for slower, more stable energy sources. That recalibration feels uncomfortable at first, the way turning down caffeine does. But under the discomfort is something important. Your internal wiring is starting to reboot. And for the first time in a long time, your energy system is trying to run without training wheels made of frosting. 24 to 72 hours, the withdrawal window. Now we enter the part nobody warns you about properly. The sugar hangover without the party. This 24 to 72 hour window is where a lot of people quit the experiment and sprint back to cookies. Not because they are weak, but because their brain is throwing a tantrum that's backed by real neurochemistry. Your brain's reward center, the nucleus accumbens, has been getting repeat dopamine hits from sugar, especially when you eat it in a bingy way. Dessert after dinner, sweetened coffee, a quick soda. Animal studies show that intermittent sugar intake can trigger dopamine release in this region in a pattern surprisingly similar to some addictive drugs. Over time, the brain gets used to that level of stimulation and starts to expect it. So when you cut sugar, the reward circuitry doesn't clap and say "great choice," it sulks. This is where the headaches, brain fog, and weird fatigue come in. You might sleep a full night and still wake up tired. You might feel restless but too drained to focus. Mood-wise, it can feel like someone turned down the color saturation on your day. Nothing is exactly wrong, but nothing feels particularly good either. That's the temporary dopamine dip from losing those quick sugary rewards. On top of that, your habits start screaming. You walk into the kitchen and automatically reach for the usual snack. You sit at your desk, and your hand goes to the drawer where the candy used to live. It's like your body is running old software. 3 p.m., tired, sugar, tiny high, crash, repeat. You're not just fighting physiology, you're untangling routines wired into your environment. Here's the good news hiding behind the grumpiness. As glucose spikes calm down, your body begins dialing down chronic, low-grade inflammation, one of the quiet drivers of heart disease, diabetes, and fatigue. Harvard-linked experts note that cutting back on added sugars improves insulin response and overall metabolic health, even early in the process. You don't see all of that yet in the mirror, but your blood vessels, your liver, and your future pancreas are already sending you a thank you card. So if the first 24 to 72 hours feel like a tiny internal protest, cravings like pop-up ads you can't quite close, mood dips, random "I could really demolish a donut right now" moments, that's not failure. That's your brain trying to keep its old contract. This short, messy window is the toll booth you pass through to get to stable energy, calmer appetite, and a nervous system that doesn't need to be bribed with sugar every few hours. In other words, these first 3 days are where the real decision happens. Does sugar run you, or do you run it? Day 4 to 7, the metabolic switch flips. By day 4, your body quietly hits one of its smartest survival switches. It stops acting like a sugar-powered vending machine and starts behaving like a hybrid engine. Up until now, you've been running mostly on glucose and glycogen, your quick, easy fuel. But once you remove sugar, those glycogen shells begin to empty and your body shifts toward lipolysis, breaking down stored fat for energy. Researchers note that even moderate sugar reduction improves insulin sensitivity within the first week, which means your cells respond better and stop storing energy as aggressively. Think of this phase like your metabolism saying, "Fine, I'll use the premium fuel you've been ignoring for years." Small amounts of ketones begin circulating, nowhere near full keto, but enough to deliver smoother, more stable energy. Many people describe this period as surprisingly calm. The infamous 3 p.m. slump fades because your blood sugar isn't bouncing like a trampoline. Hunger becomes more polite and less dramatic. You may even start waking up a bit earlier without the classic syrup brain morning fog. More importantly, inflammation begins dialing down. High sugar drives the production of inflammatory markers like CRP and IL-6. Lowering sugar starts reversing that process. The result isn't immediately visible, but you feel it. Your body isn't fighting fires all day. This is your first taste of steady energy, and it feels like your system is finally exhaling after years of chaos. Days 7 to 10. The skin and gut begin their reset. Crossing the 7-day mark is where improvements become visible. Sugar speeds up glycation, a process where excess glucose stiffens collagen and elastin, leading to dull skin and premature aging. When you cut sugar, your collagen gets room to repair, like wiping fingerprints off a mirror. Research published in dermatology journals links high sugar intake to increased acne and inflammation, while low sugar diets reduce flare-ups noticeably. During this period, many people report fewer breakouts, less oiliness, reduced puffiness, and a softer skin texture. Meanwhile, your gut is quietly reorganizing itself. You have over 100 trillion bacteria inside you, and some of them love sugar more than you do. Diets high in added sugar can encourage yeast and harmful bacteria that cause bloating and gas. As soon as you remove their favorite food, those noisy microbes lose strength, and beneficial bacteria begin taking over. Studies show that even short-term sugar reduction improves microbial diversity and lowers gut inflammation. You feel this shift as lighter digestion, less random discomfort, and a flatter stomach. It's like a chaotic street market suddenly getting traffic lights. Everything starts moving with less noise and more purpose. Day 10 to 14, the brain enters clarity mode. Now comes the change nobody expects: mental clarity. High sugar intake can impair synaptic function, slow learning, and worsen mood swings. When you stop feeding your brain sugar spikes, your cortisol, dopamine, and serotonin start stabilizing. Combined with a healthier gut, sending calmer signals through the gut-brain axis, your thoughts become clearer and more focused. Many people describe day 10 to 14 as switching from blurry 480p to clean HD. Tasks that felt overwhelming suddenly feel manageable. You notice fewer emotional swings, fewer energy dips, and fewer "I need something sweet" or "I can't concentrate" moments. Cravings start losing their emotional strength, and you realize you're no longer negotiating with sugar every hour. That sense of control is the first sign your brain is working with you, not against you. If you continue beyond 14 days, what's next? Even though we focus on 2 weeks, your body is only just warming up. Continuing beyond 14 days improves insulin sensitivity, reduces visceral fat, and supports better sleep as blood sugar becomes more stable. Public health research shows that lowering added sugar intake significantly reduces long-term diabetes and heart disease risk. Your gut continues rebuilding, your mood becomes less reactive, and your energy feels consistently predictable. It's not about dramatic overnight changes, it's the quiet, steady improvement that makes you realize how much sugar was dragging you down. Bringing it all together. These 14 days aren't a punishment, they're a health diagnostic. They reveal how much sugar was controlling your appetite, your mood, your skin, your focus, and even your identity. Most people don't realize how heavy they felt until they finally feel lighter. They don't notice the fog until it clears. Removing sugar isn't about perfection. It's about hitting a reset button your body has been waiting for. And once you feel how different life is without constant sugar spikes, it's hard to imagine going back. 14 days without sugar can feel like a small experiment, but the changes inside your body are anything but small. You've seen your energy stabilize, your cravings quiet down, and your mind clear in ways you might not have expected. This is your proof that real change doesn't have to be extreme, it just has to be consistent. And if 2 weeks can do this, imagine what 30 days or 60 days could unlock for you. Your body is already thanking you, even if the mirror hasn't caught up yet. So if you're ready to keep going, start your own 14-day reset today. And if this video helped you understand what's really happening inside you, hit like to support the channel, drop a comment, and tell me what day of the journey you're on. And as always, thank you for watching and taking the time to invest in your health.